this video is another algebra video, but it focuses on expanding. Now, expanding is just multiplication. If I had two times, let's say 2 times smiley face, okay? 2 times smiley face. 2 times smiley face is just the same as writing smiley face plus smiley face, okay? Or if I said 5 times rectangle, it would just be like writing rectangle plus rectangle plus rectangle plus, and we do that 5 times because there are 5 of them. So we have the same thing there. And we know in algebra that can also be written as 5 rectangle because mathematicians are so lazy, they just don't like writing this little symbol here. They just don't like writing it. So instead of writing everything out like this, they can write it like this to save some time, or they also like to write it like this to save some time. Now, if we think about expanding in terms of something linear, we can actually expand things like this, which you may have seen before. So let's go 2 times bracket 1 plus 4. Now, we know with BODMAS that we have to do this stuff inside of the bracket first. So we'd have to do 1 plus 4 first and then times that by 2. Now, let's just think about this for a second. Inside this bracket, we have 1 plus 4. Now, what this is actually saying, this question here, is that we have 2 of everything inside of this bracket. Okay, so we have 2 lots of 1 plus 4. So if we go 1 plus 4, we get a total of 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 1 is 6, plus 4 is 10. Okay, or if we write it out like it would suggest here, we could go 2 times 1 plus 4, which is 5. Okay, we go, that's 5. Oh, I've made a little error there. This is meant to be a 4. Okay, so this stuff in here equals 5. Okay, which equals, 2 times 5 we know is 10. 2 times 5 equals 10. So we know we have the same answer up here and up here, down here. So it works both ways. We can write it out like this in a long way, or we can write it in a simple way like this. Another way we could do it, is to write 2 times 1 plus 4. Now this way might seem a little bit silly, but when you're doing algebra, this way that I'm about to show you, it becomes really, really handy. So if we go 2 times 1, 2 times 1 equals 2, plus 2 times 4, 2 times 4 equals 8. Now, what's 2 plus 8? It's 10. You see that this way we get the same answer here, we get the same answer here, and the same answer here. So we can see that all 3 of those ways work. Now, if we extend that a little bit, what we can actually do is use algebra. We can use this method just here, to work out our algebra questions. Alrighty, so I've just moved our stuff that we did on our last screen just up here, just so that you can use it as a reference point. Now, let's try a bit of a harder question. Let's go 5 times bracket a plus 1, which we know we can't write a plus 1 any differently because it's like saying we have an apple and a dollar, which we know we can't plus those together. It's not the same. This thing here is not the same as saying 1a, okay? It's not the same as saying 2a, okay? This is just a plus 1. We can't write that any differently. What this question here is saying to us is that we have five groups of a plus 1, okay? We can write that out. As we know from our question up the top here, we can actually write that out in the long way. We go a plus 1, and we can do that 5 times. So a plus 1 plus a plus 1 plus a plus 1 plus a plus 1 plus a plus 1. And if we add all of those a's together, let's see how many apples we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 apples. So we have 5 apples. And how many dollars do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, $5. So $5. Now, if we have a look at that question, it's a really long way to write out the stuff if we had to write it out like this every single time. But if that way makes the most sense to you, then that's the way you should do it. But the best way, the quickest way to do that, if we had a question that said 5 times a plus 1, we can actually just get our pen and draw an arrow to remind us that we go 5 times a, which we know mathematicians too lazy, they can go 5 times a, which we know is the same as just writing 5a. Okay, 5 times a plus 5 times 1. Now 5 times 1, okay, 5 times 1 is just 5. And you can see we get the same answer. So we get that same answer regardless of how we do it. But this way just requires us to write so much more. Okay, so we've got another question written here. Let's see if you can first just pause the video for a second and try this question for yourself and see how you go. Okay, if you're still going, just pause it and continue the video once you've done the question. Now let's go through this. So we have 6 lots of 3. Okay, 6 lots of 3 are 6 times 3. And we have 6 lots of b as well, which is the same as 6 times b. Now let's just fix that 6 a little bit. 6 times b, which we know we can write at 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is the same as 18 plus 6 lots of b. 6 lots of b is the same as 6b. Okay, now is that the same as what you got in your question? I hope so. Okay, let's do another example. Let's try something a little bit harder, shall we? 7 times 3c plus 2. Okay, now this is the same deal. Let's try this again. Again, if you want to pause the video to give this a try, now's the time to do that. So 7 times 3 plus, ooh, we've forgotten something, 7 times 3c, okay, plus 7 times 2, 7 times 2. Okay, now 7 times 3 is 21, but this is saying 7 times 3c. So 7 times 3c would be the same as saying I have 7 groups of 3 carrots. And that means that I have 21 carrots altogether. 21 carrots plus, and 2 times 7 is 14. Now I hope that that's the same as what you got in your answer. Oh look, another question has just popped up for us. 4, oh, we're missing the times. I wonder if any of you can remember what happens when there's nothing written in between two things. So it's like when we have 2 times a, which we know mathematicians are really lazy and they just write 2a. So what they've done here is they've just not written the times in. So let's add that in for them. Okay, so if there's nothing in between a number and a bracket, it just means that it's times. Okay, so remember this is saying we have 4 lots of everything inside the bracket. So 4 lots of 2p minus 8. Now, remember we could write that out as 2p take away 8 plus 2p take away 8 plus 2p take away 8 ... And we could do that 4 times, okay? Well, let's just do it 4 times. So plus 2p take away 8. Now, we could go, okay, so we got 2p plus 2p plus 2p plus 2p, which is 8p. We got take away 8, take away 8, take away 8, take away 8. Now, that means that we start at take away 8, okay, and we keep taking away 8. So, if we start at take away 8, or negative 8, and we take away another 8, we end up at minus 16. We take away another 8, we end up at minus 24. We take away another 8, we end up at minus 32. Okay, so keep this answer in mind here. So keep this answer here in mind. Let's do this the cheating way, the way that I like. So 4 times 2p, 4 times 2p is 8p. And we know 4 times take away 8, so 4 times negative 8 is minus 32. Much quicker. Okay, so just to summarize, remember that if there's nothing in between the 4 or any number and the bracket, it just means that it's times, okay? And remember that, and keep in mind that expanding is just like saying whatever number it is at the front, okay, whatever number it is at the front, you have that many groups of what's inside the brackets. So you have that many groups of what's inside the brackets. Now, if this way here is easier for you, you may do it like that. But if it's not, then I would suggest using these arrows, because we will get onto harder stuff later in the year.